Right, we're going to be making tartiflette today. And tartiflette, the dish is named after the cheese. And it's not a good cheese to eat, it's a great cheese to cook with. Now, you may not get tartiflette where you live, but you will be able to find something that you can substitute. Now, I'm going to show you how you do this. Over here, I've got about 1 kilo of potato, and I'll just move them around so you can see. They're going to be softened. They're all cut into very, very, very slender slices. Can you see? And that's probably the longest part of making this dish. So that's 1 kilo. This is 500 grams of cheese. I've got 2 little packets. There's just under 300 grams, but it's not that important. It's not an exact science because you may not have that size potato, but basically you need enough of this. We're going to fry this with a large onion, and I've got here 4 large cloves of garlic. Now, the idea is that the cheese melts with this big glass of wine. It's just an ordinary wine, you can see, nothing special. Paul will drink the wine, but he likes white wine. In France, as a general rule, you only cook with white wine. There's only one dish that I know of that you cook with red wine, and that's the both bouillon, because that's supposed to be a red wine sauce with beef. But this is definitely better if you don't put something pink with it. It looks nicer. So these, I'm leaving the lid off these as I can keep testing them. I don't want them mushy, but I want them cooked. So I'm going to change these over. I'm going to put these in the pan. Put a little light on them. And another one in the pan. I'm very fond of this dish. The first time I had it was on the street. A street vendor in a Christmas market was making it, and we bought a little pot for all of the family, and it was stunning. It was just a lovely evening, so I had very fond memories of it. Now, it's not a difficult dish to do, and it is extremely hearty if you eat it as a main meal. But if you have it with a salad, if you have small quantities with a piece of meat, if you use it as a substitute for potato, you put this dish in the fridge, you take out small quantities and reheat it. That's how we use it. I couldn't possibly sit down and eat an entire large bowl of it. It's too heavy, too rich and too calorific. But that evening, a little pot with their equivalent of mulled wine, which they call hot wine, this is a slow pan to heat, isn't it? Is absolutely lovely. Now, there is salt in here, but that's a lot of potato. Now, it'll be done in a very, very short space of time, and I need to prod it, so I will not be putting its lid on, okay, because it won't take very long. This is going to cook, but I'm going to put some pepper in here. Okay, this particular dish originates from the part of France near Germany, and all of that area has these rich, heavy potato, very nice meals actually. Okay, the oven's coming up to temperature, and I'm going to add some oil to this pan. Most people would salt the potato, or they would salt this more, but as you know, I don't really use salt in my cuisine very much, so we won't be, and also there is salt with the bacon. But one of the things I'm going to do is to put some olive oil in the bottom of the dish to prevent it sticking. There. The reason it's very useful, this dish, if you actually make it, is because you can reheat it very easily. You can make it at the weekend and have it a few days running with different foods when you come home from work, or if you've been out all day. It's useful. It's tasty. It's delicious. Now, we're only cooking this lightly because it's going to go in the oven with the cheese that does this particular melt thing and makes its own sauce. Very clever. Very clever. No, they're not quite done. Turn them up. You have a sort of dilemma about the potatoes you use. If you use the potatoes that stay whole, it's not such a unctuous meal. It doesn't have that. But if you use very fluffy potatoes that disintegrate, you end up with soup. So you're fighting whichever way. So that depends on the type of potato you buy as to how cooked you want them. You understand? It's not it's like all my cooking, it's not an exact science. But very, very close to being done. Now this is done. This is done. That's it. That is done. All we have to do is to strain the potatoes when they've reached their optimum moment. While that's happening, I'm going to show you what to do with tartiflette cheese. This one's from the... It's very easy to get over here, but the reason I'm doing it today is because we had a cold day, and it will probably be the last cold day before October, November. Now, you've got to get your knife in about halfway, and the idea is you cut it round, just like this, and you produce two halves. It's important that you cut it this way, because otherwise you can't do what you need to do with it. Can you see how wet inside it is? It's a very, very ripe cheese, if you like. And you'd think that would taste like brie or camembert, but it doesn't. And it's a very fresh cheese. It doesn't take very long for it to reach maturity. That's what I mean by that. Now, I think we may be there. Let me take my little knife. Yeah. That's slightly longer, that one. Give it another minute. That oven now is up to temperature. I'm going to ask Paul to strain it for me, because we know my track record of heavy, wet things, don't we? Okay? Right. Well, Paul's kindly done this for me, and I'm just going to pop them all in here. Okay? That's all you need. Then you take this, your mixture that you fried. And I didn't overcook the garlic. It went in late, because garlic is inclined to lose its flavour once you start cooking it. So I often don't add it till the very end of a dish. Now, wine, half of it in now. It just helps it mix a bit. Just half, because you'll need the other half to go on top. So you can generally see what we're doing. We're just sort of trying to poke everything around a bit, so it's sort of bits of it are evenly distributed, which is never going to happen. It's not ever going to happen that it's all even distributed. but it doesn't matter too much. It's quite a rustic meal and a useful meal. It's absolutely gorgeous to eat. Now, you take these and you go bang. You take the other one and you do the same. Now, what will be a miracle is they cook down and make a sauce using this level of wine. Now, I put this over the top of these, and that's it. That's it. It now goes in the oven. Now, a lot of people say that you can cook this in the oven for about 20 minutes. I found that's rubbish. Absolute rubbish. I leave it at least 30 minutes, sometimes 40 minutes, and I watch it bubble until it's made the sauce. And we'll go and see that at the end, and you'll see it makes a sauce. It isn't just melted cheese on potato. It really is something uniquely different. And this is my usual setting, 175, and it's on fan because I find that works better with this oven. I did use a holiday home once, and the fan just was dreadful. It just desiccated everything, and so we didn't use the fan. But I'm using the fan here because it works really well. So we'll come back and see that at about the 30-minute mark. Now, it may be that you will need to leave it 40 minutes. And I think, personally, that depends on the manufacturer of the cheese and the type of potato you've used. Also, how hot it was when it went in the oven. All these factors change everything. So just look at it and you'll see if it's looking the way I say it's done, it's done. Okay? Side. And
Tartiflette.
gloves. You'll need that because it's hot. Now, right, we're back. And it's been, what, half an hour?
I think so.
And I can smell that it's done. So stand clear. No, I'm wrong. It's not quite done, but it's getting there fast. Can you see how it's melting down and forming a sauce? We'll leave that another 5-6 minutes and check again. Now, this is what we're after. The cheese has melted and bubbled into the wine. Everything has bubbled. These bits are going crispy on top. Now you can definitely emulate that. So this took in total 40 minutes, as I said. I know the packets of cheese will tell you 20, but I promise that took 40. And sometimes I've even left them in there for 50 minutes. You need the sauce to, let me show you. The sauce, can you see it's down there? It's going into the potatoes. This is crispy, can you see? It's not got piles of cheese, it's all melted in. This is what you're aiming for. And that tastes incredible. And it's really nice on a winter's evening. It's nice in summer when you don't want to cook and you get the odd day that's cold. You can shove it in the oven, pull it out, and you can just warm this. You can even put it in the microwave to warm little pieces. Individually cut it up, put it in little bowls. The list is endless. It is such a useful dish. It wasn't expensive to make. The cheese is not cheap. I think that piece of cheese was less than 3, wasn't it, Paul? Mm-hmm. But you can get quite expensive ones that are about 5. But you get a lot of portions out of this. It's not something you have to be mean with it because it's incredibly dense in calories, which you can see why. But it was very simple, and you get the excuse of eating the bottle of wine. Enjoy. We've got creamy bits. We've got bacony bits. Can you see? You've got soft, gooey potato bits. But it's not just cheese. You've got all these different perfumes going on. This is a very perfumed cheese. Camembert is quite a raunchy cheese, but this is a sort of almost aromatic-y, powdery smell. It's really wonderful cheese, and you've got that mixed with the wine. And the wine has it isn't like a vinegar. This wine has, well, everything's just emulsified into gloriousness, and it's not all fatty. One of the recipes that I read tells you to fry these potatoes. Disaster. You don't want any more fat. You're getting all of your fat you need from this cheese, and it is absolutely gorgeous. This is why you need to take a portion, stick it in the thingy, and reheat it, because you will eat more than you should, and that's not a good thing to do. This traditionally is eaten on its own and also with cold meats, which is lovely, but you've got quite a lot of fat then, haven't you? Because when they say cold meats, they mean salamis and really nice sausage meats and those sort of things. But you've got enough in the way of the bacon, and look, you've got little pools of, oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. And as I say, it's associated with such a lovely memory for me of going around the Christmas market when England felt a long way away from home. And it was a lovely man who served us, and he had a big pan, a tripod with a little fire underneath it, and he'd made it on site, and you could smell it miles away. And I just couldn't believe that this food was being sold in a street market just before Christmas. And it was just gorgeous. So I hope you get to try it and you enjoy it just as much as I do, because I think you will. It's one of my all-time favourites. And I think we have enough for 4 days worth to go one meal per day with something nice. And this is a very nice Pinot Noir. So I'm very lucky today. Really lucky. Oh yeah, fabulous wine. So simple, isn't it? And life is so good.